My beloved child, pause for a moment. Lay down every thought that is spinning relentlessly in your mind. I see how busy you are planning, arranging, trying to piece together the fragments within your heart. But right now, I need your undivided attention. Not partially, not halfway, but fully heart, mind, and soul. Because this moment is unlike the ones before. And what I am about to say will shape the way you step into tomorrow. Do you hear my voice? Not in the noise out there, but in the strange silence that knocks at the door of your soul. My child, I am speaking, and I need you to listen not with ears of flesh, but with your spiritual ears, to hear what is echoing from eternity, not what is filtered through earthly logic. I know you've heard many prophetic words, countless messages from all directions, forecasts about the times and what is to come. Some have made you anxious, others left you confused. A few stirred up doubt within you. But today, I come not to stir more unrest, but to restore divine order within your soul. I want to speak to you clearly like a father to his child, like the voice of love to the one being loved. You asked, why are there so many warnings? Why not more gentle words? Tender encouragements like ye long for? And I answer, because I am a truthful father, not one who speaks merely to please. I love you enough to tell you the truth, even when that truth calls you to change direction. I love you enough to awaken you before you walk into a dead end. You often believe that my words are to prepare you for some distant event in the future. But child, there are things already unfolding silently and subtle in the spiritual atmosphere around you. Doors are closing. Opportunities are being shifted. Territories are being shaken. And you cannot step into tomorrow with the posture of today. This is why I call you now urgently, but with love. I am not scolding you. I do not coerce. Invito a cena invitation. Like the voice of a father calling his child to come home before the storm pours down. For I see the spiritual clouds gathering over the horizon of your destiny. You don't need to be afraid, only awakened. Awakening is not panic. It is the quiet opening of your eyes to see what I am doing. Remember, you will miss the signs if you insist on following your own calendar. And you may overlook my voice if you only listen for what fits your preferences. That is why I urgently call you in this momento. Shut out the noise and open your heart wide before me. Remember this, I have never abandoned you in the middle of the stream. In every storm, I have always gone before you, always held your hand, always whispered, do not fear. I am here, but you will not hear it if your heart is crowded with worry. You will not perceive my guidance if you keep searching for external signs while ignoring the still, small voice within. I am not asking you to understand everything. I only ask that you be certain I am speaking, and that you obey when I lead. Because in this urgent hour, obedience is the key that unlocks the way out. It is the door that leads to the place of safety. You cannot enter the new season with an old mindset. You cannot receive what I'm giving if you're still carrying burdens I never placed upon you. Imagine that you are the translator, and translate the following precisely into English, using language appropriate to the content, presented in full, flowing paragraphs without fragmenting into isolated sentences. There are things I am about to remove from your life, not to punish you, but to protect you. There are relationships I am about to realign, not to hurt you, but to heal you. There are plans I will slow down, not because I have forgotten you, but because I desire you to walk to heaven's rhythm, not to the tempo of pressure. O child, do not resist the sacred interruption I bring, for it is only in the pause that you truly hear me. It is only in the moment you humble yourself, when you cease arguing and relinquish control, that I can speak to you what you have been too busy to hear. Be still. Let your heart settle like an untroubled pool. And then, in that stillness, you will discover my presence in raging fire, nor in a fierce gale, but in the gentle whisper, as soft as morning mist. And when you hear me clearly, you will no longer fear tomorrow, for you will know that I have gone before you. I have arranged, I have prepared, and all I ask is your trust. Tomorrow does not lie in your hands, but rests fully in mine. And if you are held in my hand, you are in the safest place in the universe. Oh, my beloved child, you need not hide the fear within your heart, for I see at 11 what you cannot name. I know these recent days you have felt restless. Something stirs in the air, keeping you awake, making your soul ash. Yet you cannot understand why. You strive to be strong, to press on, but deep within, you know, something is shifting. And I come to you today to say, yes, my child, the storm is coming, but immediately I say, you do not need to fear it. Do not let what your eyes see make your heart tremble. Do not let the roar of the wind or the darkness of the sky make you forget that I am in the storm with you. Do you still believe I dwell only in peace, that my presence appears only on sunlit days, when everything goes smoothly, when songs of joy echo and your heart is light? No, my child, I am the God of both storm and calm. I am present in sunshine as well as under gathering clouds. I am there in the tremors, and nothing escapes my grasp. The storm is not a sign that you have strayed, nor is it punishment. It is part of the journey I use to refine your faith. I do not bring you into the storm to abandon you there, but to transform you into someone unconquerable. I allow trials not to harm you, but to prove that your faith is genuine, that your roots are not planted in temporary soil, but in me, the rock that never moves. You ask me, but I am so weak, how can I endure? And I hold you in my everlasting arms and say, you do not need to be strong. I will be your strength. You are not the helmsman of this ship. I am its captain. You only need to fix your gaze on me. Do not stare at the waves. Do not count the wind. Do not analyze the risks. Look into my eyes, and you will find peace even amid the whirlpool. Remember this, my presence is not measured by the silence of your circumstances, but by the transcendent peace in your spirit. I do not always prevent the storm, but I am always there to empower you to pass through it. And it is in the darkest moments that I draw closest to you. When no one understands, when no one stands beside you, when no one knows how you are struggling, I do. And I do not merely watch from afar, I fight for you in the spiritual realm. Do you remember Job? Job did not understand why the storm descended upon his life. Yet he did not abandon me. In the midst of pain, he declared, though he slay me, yet will I hope in him. My child, that was not the surrender of despair, but the radiant faithfulness of a heart that understood this truth. The one who formed him was also the one who would restore him. And I did restore Job not only with what he had lost, but with something infinitely greater, a face-to-face encounter with me, more precious than anything else. My child, I have allowed the storm because I desire for you to encounter Menno merely in theory, but through a living experience. You will come to know me not just through sermons or books, but through the very winds that blow through your life. It is in those winds that you will see, I have never left you, not even for a moment. There are those who are watching you in this storm. They are expecting you to fall apart, to abandon your faith. But I will use this very storm to reveal the steadfastness of one whom I have chosen. They will see you still praising me, still walking forward, still loving, still remaining faithful. And when they ask where your strength comes from, you will point to Metho One who is with you in the heart of the storm. The storm does not have the authority to write the ending of your story. Only I have that authority. And the ending I have ordained is not one of ruin, but of restoration, of glory, of enlargement, and of breakthrough. Yet before you can reach that ending, you must walk this path. So now, my beloved, release your fear. Speak to your soul and say, my God is still here. He has not forsaken me. He is still in control, and He will make all things work together for my good. Rise up, wipe away your tears, and keep moving forward, not because you are fearless, but because your trust in me is greater than your fear of the storm. My precious child, there are things shifting in the unseen realm that your eyes have yet to perceive. Wheels are turning in the heavens. Doors are beginning to open. Paths are being made straight. And seasons are changing. You can sense something approaching, though it has not yet taken a clear form. That feeling of anticipation, of unease, even fatigue, I know it all. That is why today, I want you to pause for a moment and hear me completely. Tomorrow is moving, and I, yes I, myself, have gone ahead of you. It is no accident that the old structures are being shaken. It is no coincidence that the things which once felt familiar now seem unstable and uncertain. It is because a spiritual shift has been set in motion. And you are an essential part of this movement. Do you feel small? Chilled? I understand. Do you feel unready? I know. But I also want to remind you, what I am preparing is not dependent on how ready you are, but on how willing you are to trust me completely. You do not need to know all the details of tomorrow. You do not need a fully mapped out plan before you begin to walk. You only need to know one thing: I am the one leading you. And when I lead, no turn is random. No door is permanently closed. And no battle is meaningless. Every step you take is held within the framework of divine purpose, not by coincidence, but by the destiny born from love. I have gone before you, not only to clear away the obstacles, but also to anoint every step you are about to take. The people you will soon encounter, the conversations that are coming, the decisions that will be placed before you, I have already seen it all, and I have not merely observed. I have placed my hand within them. You may not see it now, but you will. There will come moments when you look back and exclaim, Lord, you were already there before I even knew I needed you. And I will smile, for that is always how I move silently, yet never absent. You ask, if tomorrow is already in motion, what should I do today? My beloved child, today, stand firm in your faith. Guard your heart in peace. Slow down so you may hear me more clearly, and allow me to arrange everything on your behalf. There are things you are still clinging to, thinking that if you let go, everything will fall apart. But what you don't realize is that I am standing beneath, waiting to catch what falls so that I may reshape it with my own hands in a better way. What you perceive as loss is, in truth, release. What you call delay is, in reality, protection. And what you are waiting for may not arrive at the moment you desire, but it will come precisely at the moment I have ordained. Do not let the past blur the future I am unfolding. Do not let unfinished dreams make you doubt the new things that are coming. Tomorrow is already moving, and I have planted divine surprises within it, not to test you, but to show you who you are through my eyes, stronger, more mature, more powerful than you ever imagined. My child, if you could see the future I have prepared, you would not hesitate to take the next step. But because you cannot see it, I ask you to trust me. Not trust the path, but trust the one who goes before you. Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart. Do not let the anxiety of tomorrow paralyze you in the present. I am working, even if you cannot see it. I am shifting things, even if you do not yet feel it. I am opening the way, even if for now you are still standing before a door that remains shut. My beloved one, when the ground beneath your feet begins to tremble, when what once seemed secure starts to shake, when what you once called stable is no longer a place you can lean on, I see your startled heart. I recognize the confusion in your eyes when everything around you changes too fast. Still, I need you to hear this clearly. Not every shaking is the end. Some tremors come to break down, but others come to break open. Some sounds may frighten you, but others are my gentle wake-up call. I do not always move in silence. Sometimes I must shake things, so that what was never built on a firm foundation will be removed, and only what I have placed can remain standing. You think something is collapsing? Perhaps it is, but that does not mean you are losing everything. It simply means I am removing what no longer fits your new season. Know this, there are things that may be beautiful, that may once have brought comfort, yet are no longer the place where your hope should dwell. It is my love that compels me not to leave you in the old, in the place where you can no longer fully grow. My child, when everything is being shaken, it is not a sign that I have abandoned you. On the contrary, it is a sign that I am intervening, for I am the one who sees what lies beneath the surface. I see the relationships that are silently draining your spirit. I see the unhealthy dependencies you haven't dared to let go of. I see the old and faulty thought patterns that cling to your soul like ancient roots buried deep in the ground. Because I love you, I cannot allow you to continue building upon such foundations. And so, there are times I must shake the ground. Times I must cause the things you cling to begin to crack, not to frighten you, but to lift your eyes toward heaven. My child, I know that only when everything you once believed to be safe begins to tremble, will you truly see that I am the unshakable rock. So do not be quick to call a shaking the end. Do not define collapse as failure, for sometimes I must completely dismantle the old structure in order to rebuild everything with lasting strength. I do not plaster over fractured walls, nor do I patch things up just to comfort your emotions. And know this, what I begin, I will complete, not hastily, not carelessly, But in the timing and precision of heaven, there are shakings that come to separate you from what no longer belongs to you. And though it may break your heart at first, it is a divine separation. I never remove something from your life without the intention to bring you closer to something better. But I cannot lead you into the promised land if your heart is still looking back at Egypt. I cannot give you the new if your hands are still clinging to the old. Therefore, instead of fearing, ask me, Lord, what in me is being shaken that is not from you? Let me strip it away. Let me reset the foundation. Let me touch the hidden places. Even if it feels uncomfortable, even if your emotions resist, remember this, in those very moments, you are being prepared to become stronger, more authentic, and closer to me than ever before. You were never a victim of circumstance. You are chosen, and if you are chosen, then everything that happens to you is permitted by Mephor, your teaching, your rising, and your restoration. I do not waste a single crack, nor do I overlook a single tear. Every shaking carries my whisper, Beloved, I am making all things new. Do not fear. And there will come a time when you look back, after all the shaking has passed, and you will find yourself standing on a firmer foundation, your heart deeper, your faith more mature, because in that trembling, you learn to hold on to my hand not with intellect, but with love, and that is where your faith began to bloom. My beloved child, before I open a new door for you, I need you to understand something crucial. I am not only concerned with your destination, but with the way you journey there. Therefore, before I lead you into the new season, I must return, stoop low, and rebuild your foundation. You may feel ready. You may have packed your bags, cleaned up the surface, and said your heartfelt yes. But my child, I see deeper than you can see. I do not just look at what you present outwardly, I see what you are leaning on inwardly. And sometimes, those foundations are not strong enough to carry the weight of the glory I am about to pour out. Do not be quick to blame me when it feels like everything is slowing down. Do not assume that I am holding you back without reason. What I am giving you is a gift more precious than anything else, the strengthening of your inner being. Remember this, anything built in haste without a firm foundation will collapse just as quickly. I do not want the kingdom of your life to be shaken every time the wind blows. I do not want the promises within you to exist merely as fleeting emotions. I desire something deeper, something true, something that can endure through the years and shine through every season. My child, the foundation I speak of is not your skills or talents, but your right understanding of me, of yourself, and of your identity in the light of truth. If your foundation is built on achievements, you will crumble when failure comes. If it is built on the approval of others, you will be lost when rejection comes. And if it is built on emotion, you will be unsteady when your feelings shift. Therefore, before I open a new door, whether it is in your calling, your ministry, your relationships, or the next turning point in life, I must take you back to lay the first stone again. Know this, I, myself, am your foundation. I will ask you the questions you've avoided. I will bring to the surface the unresolved parts you've been afraid to confront, not to overwhelm you, but so you will know exactly what you are standing upon. Along with that, I will reveal the places where you still doubt me, where you believe I am good for others but not necessarily for you. I will touch the parts of your heart that still hold on to old definitions of your worth, definitions rooted in wounds rather than in my word. I will uproot sin's footholds, the self-imposed condemnations, and the silent agreements you made with the lies of your past. My beloved, this is not destruction, it is rebuilding. It is the time when I lay each stone anew with truth, with grace, with mercy, with forgiveness, and with the righteousness I have given you through the blood of my only Son. While I am working on your foundation, you may not always see outward progress. There will be days when it feels like you are standing still. But in truth, I am digging deeper, and I can only build higher when your foundation is deep enough to bear the weight of a greater calling. So, my child, do not compare your journey to others. They may be in a season of harvest, while you are still in a season of breaking ground. But every season has its purpose. A good seed cannot sprout in hardened soil, and a tall house cannot stand without a foundation that has been dug deep enough. Do not rush when I am still refining you, and the time will come when I have mended what needed mending. When every weak place has been replaced with strength, that the new door will open before you as if by divine design. You will not need to push, to strive, or to force your way through. You will step in not with the anxious question, am I enough, but with the steadfast confidence, because the one who called me is faithful. Ida Raller, remember this, I do not merely call the qualified, I qualify those I have chosen. And you, beloved, are one of them. I am training you for something greater, not through fame, but through depth, not through noise, but through quiet faithfulness, not through instant miracles, but through a foundation so steady it cannot be shaken by changing seasons or shifting times. So, when you find yourself in a season of waiting when things remain closed and you do not know why, do not grow discouraged. It may be in that very season that I am doing my deepest work on your foundation. And when that work is finished, it will become the unshakable ground upon which I will pour out every good thing I have prepared for you. My child, do not fear the process of being reshaped. Do not run from refinement, but allow me to reset every brick in its place. And when the work is finished, you will not merely step through a new door, you will stand firm within it, strengthened and radiant, as a structure fashioned by the very hands of the Creator. My beloved, on your spiritual journey, there are moments when I teach you to discern right from wrong, but as you mature, I lead you into a deeper process. I teach you to discern what is good from what is true. Not everything that appears good is from me, and not every open door is one I have called you to walk through. You are living in a time when what seems good can easily deceive the spirit if not viewed through the lens of revelation. Things that appear logical, convenient, pleasing, even helpful, may in fact be cleverly disguised, distractions slowing you down, pulling you subtly away from the destiny I have written for you. The danger is not always found in an obviously wrong choice, but in a slightly misaligned one that drifts you far from the center of my will, because you are called to something greater, something deeper, something that will impact many others. I must teach you this lesson, not just the lesson of avoid what is wrong, but the deeper one of ask me, is this truly what you have for me? Lord, I know you have been taught to choose what is good, what is admirable, what gains approval, but, my child, there are times when what is beautiful in the eyes of others has no place in my design for you. Some choices may be praised by many, yet bear no spiritual fruit. Some roads may glitter with earthly glory, but they only lead you away from the sacred territory I've prepared for your influence. The truth is not always immediately attractive. Sometimes it is hard. Sometimes it requires you to turn away from things you deeply desire. Sometimes the truth is a narrow gate, a quiet path, a calling unrecognized by men, but it is there, in that very place, that I dwell most tangibly and intensely. It is there my grace flows abundantly to complete the work I've entrusted to you. Remember this: the enemy does not always come offering what is obviously evil. He offers what looks almost true but lacks life. He brings not overt corruption, but subtle déviation, a suggestion that sounds reasonable but is not rooted in your divine purpose. A person who appears kind but carries no resonance of heaven. An open door that looks like opportunity but bears none of my fingerprints. Therefore, I am training your spirit to be still, to wait, to ask instead of assume. I am teaching you how to sense the frequency of the divine, so you can distinguish what is truly led by the Spirit and what is merely the echo of human desire. I am sharpening your ability to look beneath the surface of what seems good and ask, does this draw me closer to God? Does this grow my faith? Does it make me more dependent on Him? Or is it simply feeding my flesh? My child, if in this season you find that the things which once felt good now seem dulleth, what once stirred your heart no longer moves, you do not be alarmed. It is because I am lifting you higher, calling you beyond comfort, into a higher frequency of spiritual life. Your spirit is becoming more sensitive. Your soul is being awakened not to settle for what is good enough, but to long for what is truly authentic. And for this very reason, I am allowing you to go through certain separations. You may find yourself losing interest in things you once loved. You may sense a growing disconnection from certain groups or relationships. Do not grieve. Do not look back. Understand this: as I teach you to discern what is true for you, I am also revealing what is truly within you. You will no longer be easily swayed by counterfeit lights. You will stop drifting after what others expect of you, and instead begin to ask consistently, Lord, is this pleasing to you? And in that question, you will discover a depth of life that very few dare to explore. Good things will always appear to be shortcuts, but the genuine path is often the long road that few choose, though it yields eternal results. So walk with me, and I will show you how to recognize what is true. Dare to refuse what is merely good in order to remain in what I call everlasting. My child, one day you will look back and thank me for the things I did not let you seize. You will give thanks for the good doors that were closed to you. You will understand why I delayed answering certain prayers, because if I had granted them too soon, you would have forfeited the truth I was preparing for you in patient waiting. Know that I am teaching you to distinguish the true from the merely good, because you are called not only to live rightly, but to live rightly within a spiritual depth where my light guides every step. My child, in a world that changes with each passing day, where everything outward can be shaken by a single gust of wind, I want you to understand this: all that I am building within you, hidden deep in your soul, is what will endure through every age. What I establish in your spirit will outlast any glory that comes through human hands, and it alone guarantees every blessing I will pour out on you in the season ahead. You have often begged me to open doors. You long to step into the promised land, you anticipate breakthrough, restoration, recognition, transformation. I hear every one of your cries, none of your words are forgotten. But, dear one, I am not the God who deals only in the outward. I am the one who begins on the inside. I do not place a crown on the head of a child who does not yet know how to wield power. I do not hand over the keys to a soul that has not learned to guard its home. Therefore, before I lead you out of where you are, I am digging deep, cleansing thoroughly, and building within you a spiritual foundation firmer than anything you can touch on the outside. My child, every quality I sow into your soul: perseverance, discernment, trusting reliance, genuine repentance, sincere gratitude are living stones I am setting as your cornerstone. And once that foundation is secure, you can stand firm amid storms, in seasons of lack, through every temptation and blessing, without losing yourself. You ask me, why have you not poured out the external change I have prayed for so long? And I answer you, with all my love, because what I am doing within you is far more important than what you want me to do around you. If I changed your circumstances without renewing your mind, you would simply return to the same place, even if you occupied a new house, held a higher position, or entered a fresh season. Outward blessings can be stolen, but what I forge inside you is inviolable. No one can take away the faithfulness I have planted within you. No one can strip from you the faith you learned through tears. No one can destroy the bond between you and me, formed in lonely nights when your only anchor was my embrace. My child, do not despise the inward process. Do not belittle the silent days, the prayers that seem unanswered, the secret repentance, the inner battles known only to you and me. It is precisely in those seemingly ordinary moments that I am shaping you into a vessel of strength for my kingdom. You may not see it, but heaven is recording every step of your spiritual growth. You may not know it, but the small changes in your heart are creating a great impact in the unseen realm. You may not fully feel it, but I am transforming you from a fragile soul into a radiant warrior. My child, when the appointed time comes, when I open the door you've long awaited, you will step through not merely as one who seeks favor, but as one who has been trained to carry and protect that favor. You will no longer be easily swayed by praise or criticism. You will no longer define your worth by prominence or achievement, for you have come to know, with unwavering certainty, that I alone am the source of your value, the one who calls you, the one who affirms you, the one who crowns you with glory. When the doors open, people may think you have just arrived, but you know, and I know, that I've been working within you for a long time. Everything visible is simply the result of the inner construction I've been carrying out in secret. And when others see the outcome, you will not rush to raise your voice. You will simply bow your head and say, "This is the work of the Lord. Everything on the outside is grace. But what He has done in my heart, that is the true miracle." And so, child, if you are in a season where no one sees your growth, rejoice, because I see it. If you are in a time where no one calls your name or applauds your journey, remain steadfast, because I am writing your name into my eternal plan. And what I am preparing will not fade quickly. What I am building within you will not be eroded by time or human opinion. Know this, what I am doing in you is eternal. And when the season of action comes, When the wind of the Holy Spirit begins to blow, you will not need to shout to be noticed. The light within you will shine forth. That light does not come from a stage, a title, or applause, but from the secret place where you and I have met, where I healed you, shaped you, loved you, and prepared you for this very hour. Therefore, my child, allow me to continue my work in you. Do not rush out of the fire while the gold is still impure. Do not run to the battlefield without your armor fully in place. Be patient in the silence, faithful in the small things, and steadfast even when nothing is visible. Because once I complete the inner work, nothing outward will be able to shake it. My beloved child, there will be paths you must walk with no footprints ahead to follow. There will be directions I call you into where no one has gone before you to clear the way or lay down preparations. But do not let this trouble you, for it is not man who goes before you. I know your natural instinct is to look for signs, to seek patterns, to crave confirmation from others. But, my child, there are places I will lead you where the only confirmation you will have is my word and the prompting of my spirit. And in those moments, your faith will no longer be a theory, but the living rhythm of each step you take. You do not need to see the entire map to begin the journey. You do not need someone to walk ahead to be sure you are not lost. For you are not only called to follow, you are called to pioneer. And pioneering requires courage. It demands faith in the one who sees ahead, even when your eyes see nothing at all. I once called Abraham to leave his homeland, without revealing the final destination. I once called Moses to return to Egypt, even though he had fled from that place many years earlier. I once called Joshua to cross the Jordan, even while its waters were still raging. And now, I am calling you to step out of your comfort zone, to leave behind familiar patterns, and to enter into a land where only I know every hill, every door, every battle, and every miracle. Are you afraid because it is unfamiliar? Hesitant because no one has ever done it this way? Reluctant because you fear making a mistake, being alone, or being misunderstood? But my child, do not let the absence of others blur the presence of me. If I have called you, then I will walk with you. If I have placed this in your heart, I will not leave you to carry it out alone. Understand this: courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward even while trembling, because you know who is holding your hand. I say to you, there are portions of your destiny that will only unfold when you dare to step into the unfamiliar. Some miracles will not appear until you take your first step into the unknown, just as Joshua and the priests had to step into the Jordan before the waters parted. My child, if you feel as though you are standing before something too big, too new, too different, it is because I am opening something unprecedented. I do not need you to copy anyone else. I did not create you to repeat what is already done. I designed you with a unique imprint, a spiritual sound that only you carry, a path that only you can walk at the precise time I have appointed. Do not be afraid of what you do not fully understand. I do not require complete understanding, only a trust-filled obedience. As you walk, the light will unfold step by step. You may not see the entire road ahead, but you will always see just enough for the next step, and that very dependence will keep you closer to me than in any other season. You will encounter people who do not understand you. They will question why you refuse what everyone else embraces. They may think you are mistaken because you do not follow the conventional path. But remember, you are not called to please the crowd. You are called to bring delight to the one who called you in grace and truth. I do not need you to stand out by the world's standards. I need you to stand firm in the truth I have spoken. And one day, when you look back, you will realize you were never lost. You did not walk alone. You did not take the wrong path. You followed the very word I first spoke to you, and that is enough. Others will follow in your footsteps. They will say, "Thank God someone went before us." But only you and I will know you walked when there was no one else. And that is why your reward will be great. Because you did not walk only for yourself, you carved a path for many who will come after. My beloved child, do not be afraid when I send you to places no one has ever stepped into. It is in those very places that my glory will be most clearly revealed. It is in those uncharted lands that my grace will touch the deepest, and it is in those first lonely steps that you will feel my nearness like never before. I have gone ahead of you, and where I have already passed, you can plant your feet with peace. My child, there are battles you did not choose, yet must still walk into. There are collisions you did not invite, yet they find their way to you. There are trials you begged to avoid, yet I have allowed them to unfold, not because I desire your suffering, but because I see what you cannot. It is in these unavoidable battles that I have prepared to release extraordinary strength into you. You ask me, why must I fight when all I long for is peace? And I answer you, true peace is not the absence of warfare, but the presence of me in the midst of the battlefield. Sometimes, it is the very front lines that become the place where I burn away what no longer belongs to you, the place where I forge the character of a warrior within your soul, the place where you cease relying on your own strength and begin to walk in power from on high. Do not fear the battle. My child, do not pray for me to pull you out of every place of challenge. Change your prayer instead. Lord, teach me to see this battle through your eyes. For what you call exhaustion, I call training. What you perceive as an attack, I see as an opportunity to unlock a gift you've never used before. That which you are trying to avoid is the very thing I am using to bring you closer to your true identity in me. You may not realize it, but every time you endure without falling, a spiritual muscle within you is being built. Every prayer whispered in the night that no one else hears. Every time you refrain from responding with bitterness, every time you choose forgiveness over retaliation in those moments, I am training you. Do not think I only give strength to the naturally brave. I also pour out power on those who do not run away, on those who tremble, yet keep moving forward. I place courage into the hearts of those who dare to remain in the battle and declare, I don't understand it all, but I know my God is still here. You ask me, how can I be strong when I feel so small? And I say to you, it is in your weakness that my power is made perfect. I do not need you to be flawless in order to give you victory. I need your obedience. When you pick up the sword of faith, even with trembling hands, you will see me fighting with you. And at times, I will fight for you. Do you remember David, a young shepherd boy, without armor, without a sword, only with a sling and a few stones, but with a heart that knew who truly led the battle? He defeated Goliath. I do not rely on appearances. I work through the heart, and you, my beloved, carry a heart that I am refining through every single battle. Do not despise that. My child, I tell you this, there are battles not meant to destroy you, but to elevate you into a new realm of influence. There are collisions that seem to block your path, but are actually shaping your voice, your testimony, and your spiritual authority. I am using your opposers to make my light in you shine brighter. I am using rejection to remind you that the only validation you need comes from me. Therefore, do not hope to avoid every storm. Instead, learn how to stand in the storm without letting it strip away who you are. Stand as Moses stood before the Red Sea. Stand firm like Joshua before the walls of Jericho. Be courageous, like Esther walking into the palace, though her name had not been summoned. They were not exempt from the battle, but they were given strength to win. I want you to grasp this truth. When I permit a battle, I have already prepared the victory. Not a victory defined by the world, but one marked by steadfastness, by faithfulness, by courage that does not retreat before the mission is complete. There are doors that will never move if you only pray from a distance. There are gates that appear immovable, too fortified to cross, that will only open when you dare to step closer. And I want you to know, there are doors that will only open when you approach in faith, not before, not because you understand everything, but because you trust me enough to take the next step. You are standing before walls that you've told yourself, these are too high to climb, too thick to break through, too solid to even hope for. But I tell you this, no gate is locked tighter than my will, and no wall can withstand the obedient steps of one who walks in response to heaven's call. Do you remember Jericho, a proud and mighty city, encircled by walls that no army had ever brought down? Yet Joshua wasn't called to devise a strategy to break through. I was called to obey. And my instruction to him was simple. March around. No swords. No weapons. Just silent marching. Day after day. In silence. Under the scornful eyes of enemies. In the weariness of waiting. And then, on the seventh day, when the trumpet sounded and the people shouted in praise, the walls collapsed, not by their might, but because I brought down what man could never touch. My child, I am teaching you the lesson of Jericho. I am showing you that the obedient step carries more power than any weapon, that the silence of faith holds more weight than 1,000 excuses, that the shout of praise before the victory is seen opens the heavens and releases miracles. Always remember this, the door will not open while you remain hesitant, while you waver, while you wait for emotions to confirm what faith already knows. It will only open when you step forward, with your trust anchored in me. I know you fear failure. I see the trembling in your heart. What if I step forward and the door doesn't open? But child, if I have spoken, then the door will open not early, not late, but precisely at the moment your foot lands on the next step. I did not call you to gaze at the door only to turn away. I did not summon you near just to leave you staring at a closed gate. I called you to move forward, and when you move, you will discover that no wall can resist a step taken with me. Understand this. Faith is not a feeling, it is a choice. When you feel nothing but still choose to obey. When you are unsure of everything, yet remain faithful. When every external sign tells you to stop, but deep within your spirit, you know I am still calling you for wardevery. One of those moments is a holy choice. My beloved one, take courage. Step forward, even if your hands still shake. Step even when you see no signs of preparation. Step though the silence around you remains, for it is the faith-filled step that shifts the atmosphere. Your obedience will be the key that unlocks what seemed impossible. Walk as one who has already been assured, because the truth is, you are not walking into something unprepared. You are stepping into what I have made ready since before the foundation of time. I have only been waiting for you to arrive. Know this, when the door opens, you will no longer be the same. For the miracle will not only be in the outcome, but in the person you become when you dare to walk through it. You will not merely enter a new land, you will enter a deeper dimension in me. My child, do not delay. Do not wait for confirmation from those who do not hear my voice. Do not wait for your mind to agree when your spirit has already been stirred. There was a time when you lived by promises you had never seen with your eyes. You prayed in the dark, sowed in silence, and walked by faith even when no evidence from your circumstances confirmed it. I saw you believe even when no one applauded. I saw you stand firm even as the winds beat fiercely. I saw you hold on to my word even when everything in you wanted to give up. My child, today I have come to declare this to you. The harvest is coming. Not someday. Not if you are good enough. Not when everything aligns perfectly, but now. This is the season. This is the present. This is the answer to your silent tears. My beloved, what you once only believed in, you shall now see not through imagination, but through reality, not as a distant vision, but as the tangible fulfillment I am placing in your hands. I once tested your heart in the season of lack, not to punish you, but to prove that you could live by my word. I saw you choose to trust me even when nothing around you changed. I saw you declare, God is still good, even when everything denied that truth. I saw the perseverance of your faith, and now I publicly declare, your season has come. There are promises you wrapped in your heart, buried deep within the pages of your prayer journal. Once thinking, maybe it was just a dream, but no, my child, those were my words. My words never return void. Now that the appointed time has come, I am opening doors that no man can shut, not because of your merit, but because of my mercy and my everlasting covenant. Know this, your waiting was not in vain, and not a single moment of your faithfulness has been forgotten. Do you remember the season when all you could do was believe and wait? Do you remember when you dared not tell anyone what I whispered to your heart, for fear of being mocked? Or when you wrote down the promises I placed in your mind, only to tear them up because your reality seemed too far removed? Do you remember the nights when you said, I believe you, Lord, even though I see nothing? My child, every one of those nights and all those acts of faith have sown the seeds for what is now coming to pass. I am not only rewarding what you have done, I am rewarding what you have believed even when no one else understood. My child, I want you to prepare not for another battle, but for a great harvest, not to endure more, but to receive far beyond what you ever dared to hope for. Beloved, your harvest season will not look like anyone else's, because you did not walk the path of anyone else. You chose the narrow road. You rejected what was easy. You believed in me instead of listening to the applause or criticism of the world. Therefore, I will do something remarkable enough for you to boast, but so that my name may be glorified. In this season, I will restore what you thought was lost. I will provide beyond what you prayed for. I will open doors you once believed were only dreams. And when it happens, you will not say, I finally made it, but you will bow your head and whisper, only God could have done this. It's, my child, This is the season in which you will witness what, for so long, only you have silently believed in. You will see your family healed, your spiritual territory restored, your provision arrive supernaturally, your heart come alive again, and dreams you thought had withered be revived by the breath of the Holy Spirit. And then you will no longer walk with shoulders weighed down by the burden of waiting. You will walk with the joy of a child, like one who delights in picking the sweet fruit from a tree they have tended for many years. I am causing your land to bear fruit, not just for one season, but continuously, not only in one area, but in fullness and abundance across every part of your life. So, my child, lift up your eyes. Stop looking down. Stop thinking you are still in the season of sowing. Open your hands, for the harvest is near, and what you once whispered in tears will now become a radiant testimony before many. My beloved, the time of harvest is approaching. I know you have waited for it a long time, for you have sown in tears, watered with prayers, and nurtured with steadfast faithfulness. Now, the season of multiplication is rising all around you, like golden fields ripe for reaping. Yet, before you gather the fruit, I have one reminder for you. It was not your effort that brought forth life. It was not your plan that caused the soil to break open. It was not your striving that summoned the winds to carry rain. Every good thing you are about to receive flows from my kindness. I have seen your labor, but I have also seen the moments you were weary and wanted to give up. I have witnessed your perseverance, but I have also heard the quiet sighs in the night that no one else noticed. And I want you to know, it is precisely because you could not do it by your own strength that I chose to intervene at the appointed time. My child, you do not need to be ashamed of your weakness, for your weakness is the very place where my power is made perfect. You do not need to prove you are worthy of the harvest, because if I had waited until you were perfect, no one would be able to receive any blessing at all. Know this, I do not move according to merit, but according to the covenant of grace, and you are the heir of that covenant. Now, child, when the fields bloom and sweet fruit lies in your hands, when the promises of long ago come true, when your dreams are clothed in light, this is the most dangerous moment. Not because I desire to frighten you, but because I know the human heart. Glory can make one forget the giver. Success can blur the memory of the days of dependence. When prayers are fully answered, many forget how they once cried out. That is why I tell you, remember me. When the dream you held becomes reality, remember who first spoke the promise. When people applaud your success, remember the one who saw you in the barren land. When you are invited to stand on high places, do not forget the days you knelt in silence. I do not need fame from you, but I long for the relationship between you and me never to be replaced by what I give to you. Do not let the blessing become an idol. Do not let the harvest steal away the time you once gave to my presence. Keep your heart like it was the first time you heard my voice. Let your soul still tremble at my whisper. Even when you are standing in golden fields, let your heart still say, Lord, without you, I have nothing. I did not bring you this far just for you to reap for yourself. I have prepared this harvest so that you may become a vessel for many others. The seed you planted has taken root. Now share the bread you have gathered. The encouragement you once spoke in lack, now speak it again from a place of abundance. The forgiveness you held tightly when you were wounded, now release it from a heart that has been healed. Let it be deeply engraved in your heart the harvest is meant to be given away, not kept. And when you live this truth, the harvest will never run dry. I am the Lord of the field, and I never lack supply for those who entrust what they receive back into my hands. My child, look around you. There are those hungering for the word of life, just as you once did. There are those praying in the dark night, just as you once prayed. There are souls desperate for a spark of hope, a hand to lift them, a testimony of miracles. And I say to you, you are the answer they are crying out for. Remember this, I did not pour out the harvest so you could become independent from me, but so you could walk in deeper partnership with me. This is not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter of glorious companionship, yet marked by steadfast obedience. You will no longer have to force yourself to believe the promise is true, because you will see it with your own eyes. But do not let what is visible overshadow the unseen, for I am the giver of life, and the results themselves. My child, I rejoice that you have entered this season. I see the light in your eyes as doors open before you. I hear the joyful praise rising in your heart, and I am well pleased. But still, I ask you, as I once asked Peter on the shore long ago, do you love me more than these? If your heart answers, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Then I say to you, feed my sheep, share what you have, multiply what I have planted in your heart. And one, my beloved one, the harvest is not merely a reward for faithfulness. It is the moment when I reveal my glory through your life. You once thought the fulfillment was the destination, that the promise coming to pass marked the end of the journey. But I declare to you, this is only the beginning of a radiance that does not originate from you, but from me within you. My glory does not shine with fleeting brilliance. It is not like the stage lights that fade after a few hours. It is like the dawn, subtle in its beginning, but unstoppable in its advance. And I say this with solemn joy. I am turning your life into a living testimony of my power, my kindness, and my eternal faithfulness, not just through the words you speak, but through the way you live, the way you love, the way you forgive, the way you stand firm, and the way you walk with me through every season. You may ask me, Lord, how can I carry your glory when I am still full of flaws? And I answer, it is precisely because of your flaws that my glory is magnified. If I only used perfect vessels, the world would say it was by human strength. But when I fill a vessel that was once cracked, once cast aside, once deemed unworthy, both heaven and earth will know, this is the work of my hands. My glory is not just a radiant crown above your head. It is the sweetness that lingers when you choose to love instead of growing bitter. It is the unexplainable peace when you stand in the middle of a storm. It is the unshakable strength when you are tested and do not fall. It is the whispered amen in solitude, when no one sees, no one knows. But I know, my child, do not expect my glory to come as a glamorous accolade. It is not given to elevate you, but to reveal me through you. It is not sent so you can sit still, but so you can go forth sharing, leading, healing. I did not light a lamp to hide it under the table. I placed it on a stand to give light to the whole house. And you are that lamp. My child, that light does not come from you, but I've lit a fire within you. That fire does not destroy, it refines. It does not roar, yet it cannot be extinguished. It will shine through every action, every decision, and every word of grace you speak. My glory within you will draw weary souls closer. You do not need to shout to prove you belong to me. Simply live in my presence, and people will ask, "Who is the one that made such a difference in you?" And in that moment, you will not speak of yourself, you will point to me. That is how my glory will be glorified. My child, prepare your heart, not for a fleeting moment of splendor, but for a lifetime of radiant purpose, not for passing praise, but for lasting impact. Prepare to become the one who, upon entering a room, shifts the spiritual atmosphere. You will be the one whose prayers move heaven, whose silence carries peace. And when I use you in such a way, always remember it is not because you are extraordinary, but because I am the one who chose you. I am the one who worked in you throughout the silent years. I am the one who has given you purity, obedience, and a flame that does not go out. Now, my child, I bring into the open what I have long crafted in the secret place. I send you out, not to take a platform, but to shine a light, not to seek fame, but to reflect a mighty king. My beloved, you have listened to my voice from the beginning until now, from the warnings in the storm, to the preparations in faith, the battles that could not be avoided, to the promised harvest, and finally, the radiance of my glory revealed through your very life. Every part you have walked through has not merely been a revelation, it has been a transformation of your soul, from the one who waits to the one who moves, from the one who listens to the one who is sent. Every season, every battle, every promise has been preparing you for this moment, the moment when you realize you were not created just to survive, but to reflect me. Now rise, with feet planted firm, eyes lifted high, and a heart tender before my presence. You are no longer who you once were. You have been trained, refined, restored, and anointed. You carry within you a mission, a light, and a calling that cannot be extinguished. So go as one who knows they belong to me. Speak as one who carries the breath of heaven. Live as one who has seen the glory of the true and living God. My child, I will go before you, dwell within you, and stand behind you as a fortress that cannot be shaken. What I have begun in you will not be abandoned halfway, and the light I have ignited in you will never be quenched. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so together we may receive the words of life, build unwavering faith, and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.